JetBlue Airways has been flying for over 2 decades, transforming from a disruptor in the United States aviation space to an international player. The Long Island City, New York-based airline was founded by entrepreneur David Neeleman in the late 1990s and has gone on to hold several bases across the US. It flies to more than 100 destinations across North America, Latin America, the Caribbean, and Europe. The airline traces its roots to before the turn of the century, with David Neeleman formerly founding a company called New Air. Swiftly changing its name to JetBlue, the operator began flying out of John F. Kennedy International Airport on February 11, 2000, with low-cost fares. The firm managed to overcome the significant challenges of the noughties, including the 9/11 attacks and the Great Recession, while growing its holdings to maintain a fleet of 280 aircraft. Airbus A220s, A320s, A321s and Embraer E190s all fly with JetBlue. Dubbing itself as New York's hometown airline, JetBlue's first flight, conducted with an Airbus A320, took off from JFK's Terminal 6 to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Neeleman was keen to offer tickets that were priced 65% less than competitors. He also sought to use his background in booking tech to optimize reservations and check-in systems with modern technology. Additionally, JetBlue promoted for each passenger to have a selection of 24 live satellite TV channels to view at their seat. This offering was part of the airline's goal of bringing humanity back to flying. Operating got off to a fantastic start, with JetBlue serving 1 million passengers before its first year was over. It also reported a flight revenue of $100 million. Passengers were evidently fond of the reasonable fares that started from $49. Despite the strong foundation, JetBlue would have to deal with the tough conditions of the US aviation industry following the 9/11 attacks. These tragic events caused significant challenges for every airline. Even low-cost projects such as Delta Express suffered, going on to disappear in the years that followed. However, JetBlue managed to subdue the impact better than most carriers during this period, being one of the few to report a profit. JetBlue quickly showed its intention of being a national powerhouse and not waiting for the market to balance, amid the announcement of an initial public offering, or IPO, in April 2002. The airline priced its IPO of 5,866,667 shares of its common stock at a price of $27 per share. These shares would be listed on Nasdaq. In the same month, the airline purchased 2 additional A320s and announced the expectation of over 50 new aircraft by the middle of the decade. The airline continued to expand its network that spring, including the launch of a new service to Puerto Rico. The airline has continued to show its ambitions with the opening of a training center in Orlando in June 2005. This 107,000 square foot center was built to offer initial and recurrent training across the board, including technical operations, flight operations, in-flight and customer service departments. JetBlue experienced its first quarterly loss in 2005, losing $42.4 million. There were healthier numbers in subsequent months, but the first quarter results made the whole year unprofitable. The following year was also a loss amid high fuel prices, fleet costs, and inefficiency across operations. Significant changes followed. Neeleman was replaced as CEO by David Barger in May 2007. The founder also made way for Joel Peterson as chairman in the same year. The change of scene extended to the airline's network. Before the end of the decade, there were new Latin American ventures with flights to the likes of Colombia and Costa Rica. These expansions helped the airline continue its development into the 2010s. Thus, in 2014, it was ready to introduce its premium offering on flights from New York to Los Angeles and San Francisco. Mint has become a fan favorite, allowing extra comfort on transcontinental trips without passengers having to break the bank. JetBlue's pioneering spirit was on display in the years that followed. For instance, in 2016, it became the first US airline to fly commercially to Cuba after over 50 years of suspensions. This adventurous energy continued into the 2020s amid the launch of transatlantic flights to Europe. The airline highlighted its impressive achievements in its short history as it celebrated its 20th anniversary of operations last year. Overall, the airline went on to become the 6th largest United States-based airline by passengers carried, despite being one of the youngest around. No one believed that a startup airline in 2000 could survive 20 months, much less 20 years. But JetBlue proved that taking care of people and bringing low fares to the market could not only be a viable business model, but could also completely disrupt an industry. Others have tried to imitate JetBlue, but no one has ever successfully copied our 23,000 crew members and the incredible culture that they've built, Robin Hayes, Chief Executive Officer JetBlue, shared when talking about the 20-year milestone. JetBlue's role in the industry is more important than ever, as the large airlines have consolidated and grown more powerful, and the ultra-low-cost carriers ushered in the no-frills flying. Customers are turning to JetBlue for our high-quality service and affordable fares. Definitely a unique combination in the industry today. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe before you go.